Hello everyone, today we are going to analyze Tinto Talks 84th, released on 15th of October 2025, which is about onboarding systems, and that's something really important, especially for me, because I can say that I'm at best worse than mediocre player of that game, and I have no previous experience in Europa Universalis 4, though I have about 80 hours. Insane amount. It's insane amount. I know, but I played it like I think 10 years ago. It was probably a year after release of the game. There were a few only DLCs and that's it. I don't know. I was doing something else in my life. That's why I haven't been playing Europa Universalis 4. But here today we have onboarding systems about Europa Universalis 5, and I believe that's gonna be very interesting reading. So far, I've heard that let's say tutorial is quite decent in Europa Universalis 5. I'm not sure. I haven't tested the game, so this is only based on what I've heard on the internet. So okay, let's start reading. Okay, hello and welcome to another Tinto Talks, the Happy Wednesdays, where we talk about Europa Universalis 5. As you may have noticed, I'm not Johan. Interesting, is it Johan or Johan? Johan. Everyone calls him Johan. Nor Pavia. Therefore, since this is my first official post in the forums, I will introduce myself. Oh, that's a new guy. My name is Eric Vicent, and I'm UX designer and UI team coordinator at Paradox Tinto. Before joining Paradox back in 2020, I was just like the most of you, a completely and utterly addicted Paradox fan for many years, having Europa Universalis as my core franchise, followed by Crusader Kings and Hearts of Iron. Some of you might recall me from some behind the scenes videos we have been posting on YouTube, and probably others may recognize me as an old looking armor in the Castles armor with Lave, where we did some cool interviews this past spring. Okay. Hello. Nice to meet you, Mr. Eric Vicent. Now that we've got the boring part out of the way, it wasn't that boring, come on. People are usually quite interesting because everyone is different. Let's move on to the fun stuff. Europa Universalis 5's onboarding systems. This week, we are pulling back the curtain on one of the toughest design challenges we've faced so far, teaching a grand strategy game that's, well, truly grand. Yeah, based on what Paradox published so far, related with Europa Universalis 5, I think that calling now the old games of Paradox, the previous games, Paradox grand, it's not, I mean, it's inaccurate. Europa Universalis 5 is really grand strategy game. Or maybe let's call previous games grand strategies, and Europa Universalis 5 will be, I don't know, double grand strategy. It's insane. The amount of details is absolutely crazy, or at least that's how it looks on YouTube. So what they post, all of those forum dev diaries, Tinto talks, and all that stuff around. I mean, it's immense. I can't imagine how much work was put into that project, because I know how programming project looks like from the inside, and truly that job by Tinto, that work by Tinto, um, jeez, insane. I mean, I it's hard to comprehend. I mean, I can imagine that when team is absolutely huge, like 1,000 people or so, then yeah. But as far as I know, Tinto team is rather smaller than bigger, so might be wrong though. Either way, let's continue. By the way, this is a challenge. Yeah, this is a serious challenge to introduce people like me to grand strategy games. They seem to be very intimidating at the first glance, so that's why I always say that good tutorial is a must for those games. Of course, people will complain and say, well, just watch YouTube. There is so many content creators doing great stuff. And yes, that's, I mean, I fully agree. Content creators do amazing stuff related with tutorials, and they can teach you the very basics, more advanced stuff. So yeah, everything is free, by the way, so you can watch whatever you want for how long you want, and then you can apply all that knowledge to the game. But since that's a game and they have tools to actually do that, they should teach you inside the game, because you learn the best way. You learn the best, the most effective when you do something, when you play with it. Try to watch, I don't know, even the shorter version of tutorials on YouTube. Jump to the game and try to replicate what they've said. In most cases, you won't be able to do that because you don't remember what they've said. So it's better if the game guides you through those meanders of economy, politics, military, all that stuff. I mean, there's so many things in that game that it's really hard to comprehend. But I believe that you can actually make decent tutorial. I would even say that you can split it. So you do the basic tutorial, more advanced one, highly advanced, and so on. And I think everyone would appreciate it, except content creators, who really rock in those games. So it's not a big deal for them. But for many of us, I think it's actually nice to have a decent tutorial. Even I would say it can be scripted to some degree. It's not a big problem if you have certain events happening because it's scripted. Certain situations that would be totally fine. Just say about it. Hey guys, this is scripted tutorial. Every playthrough can be different from now on, and we are good. That's all we need. So yeah, this is a challenge, absolutely. Let's continue. If you ever try to explain Europa Universalis to a friend, oh yeah, well, you probably know the look. That 1,000-yard stare that says, wait, so you're a country, and what exactly is an estate again? Oh yeah, well, maybe in Europa Universalis it's not a big deal, but when I've tried Crusader Kings the first time, it was like, okay, so is that a kingdom? And then we have what? Oh, that's a duchy, and then we have a county, and what's next? Oh, there is a barony as well, and then you have those different titles related with that, and my brain was like, oh my god, now try to remember all of that. I mean, when you play, you start knowing those things, and it's not a problem, but at the very beginning, it's highly intimidating. By the way, tutorial in Crusader Kings 3, it's not the best, but definitely it's better than in other games. So it does quite a good job explaining that basic stuff. So yeah, if you want to try decent Paradox tutorial on Grand Strategy game, I think that Crusader Kings 3 does it the best from all those available games. Okay, so what's next? Designing a learning experience for a game this deep is no small feat. Yep. But as game developers, we can't just shrug and say, they will figure it out. I think that was the case in all previous games. Or actually, even in the latest games like Victoria 3, it's like, figure it out, bro. Our goal is to invite players, new and veteran, into the grand strategy mindset by not burying them under spreadsheets on day one. That's very, very good assumption. So in this development diary, we will talk about recommended countries, missions, and walkthroughs. That's awesome. Okay, that's cool. That ease you into the core mechanics along with hints, automation, and other tools that will help you along the way. I've never been a fan of automation. We will see. Probably I will use it to some degree, especially trade. I guess. Who knows? But in most cases, I don't like automation. I always provide that example with a car. I have an automatic gearbox in my car, but I always switch to manual mode. Yes, you can actually do that if you don't know. I always switch to manual. I've been driving manual for years, and now I have automatic, and I still switch to manual because I hate when car thinks for me, and I feel like I can do it better. And maybe I'm wrong, but at least I have that feeling of control. So that's about me. Let's continue. Also, I will be explaining the 3 design pillars that guided us during this challenge: integration, pace, and reward. Yeah, now I think about it, and yeah, damn, that's an immense task for them. So huge kudos if you manage to do it properly. Together, they form the backbone of learning experience built not just to explain Europa Universalis 5, but to make the act of learning it part of the fun. Yep, by turning tutorials into something you will actually want to play. I fully agree. I think that was the missing part in all Paradox games so far. So we will see. Before we dive into the onboarding pillars, play styles, before building any system meant to teach, we had to answer a fundamental question. Whom are we really teaching? Well, yeah, this is a decent question. Because if you assume that most of the grand strategy players are good enough to figure it out by their own, then you are going to make tutorial a little bit more complex and complicated because, well, you assume that players are just good enough to comprehend that. But what if the player is like me? I mean, knowing nothing. That's the problem. A game like this attracts a wide range of players, from veterans who can and want to calculate trade good market prices, values in their sleep, to curious newcomers drawn by maps, flags, and a high level of ambition. This is a very nice assumption. But no two players engage with the same mechanics in the same way, and in a game of this scale, trying to learn everything at once is unrealistic. Absolutely correct. Some players thrive on diplomacy and the art of negotiation. Others find joy in mastering the flow of gold and goods, and a fair few simply prefer to solve geopolitical problems with cannons. Yeah. I think I'm that guy. I mean, or maybe I should say it differently. So, my ambition is to use cannons, but usually I'm scared too much to actually engage with those cannons. So I will just keep them in the bag and wait that diplomacy will be enough, or any other method to win what I want. So yeah, I'm usually too scared to engage in wars because my impression is that I will lose every time, which is wrong. I should play more aggressively, and that's what I do in shooters usually. I mean, or maybe, that again depends on the game. This is a mix, actually. It's all about your subconsciousness, the way how you deal with the problems, even if in your real life. Whatever. Let's continue. To embrace all these playstyles, we've grouped them into 3 board archetypes: politics, economy, and expansion, each offering its own path through the grand tapestry of Europa Universalis 5. Politics playstyle. Focus on the internal politics by dealing with the administration and the states of your country, and also establish deals and alliances with other countries to strengthen your international position. Main panels involved government and society and diplomacy. Alright. Economy playstyle. Focus on the economic development of your country. Pursue national prosperity by exploiting the land, constructing buildings, and importing goods in different markets. Main panels involved economy and production. And then we have expansion playstyle. Focus on your army and navy, declare war on your enemies, and take control of neighboring lands by force, and also expand your navy to control the seas and expand your maritime presence. Main panels involved military and geopolitics. And here we have it. So we have macro playstyle, and this is for the expansion. It's more like wide land and naval warfare, exploration, colonization. Then we have politics. This is tall micro playstyle. Parliament, laws and cabinet, estates and society, inner and outer diplomacy. Then we have economy, which is somewhat balanced. So the country balance, trade, production, and buildings. I would say I'm more like on this side. I think so. But yeah, we'll see when I start playing that game, which is going to be released in about 3 weeks, something like that. Our own Bartle's taxonomy on playstyle archetypes and main mechanics tied to them. Okay. Recommended countries, and that's the interesting part. That's very interesting. I already see them on the map here. And first, what I've noticed is that there is no England and France, which is interesting. But this is because they are involved in 100 Years' War, so probably that's the reason why they are not recommended. There is Castile, which was the case in Europa Universalis 4, and Well, what else? There is Norway, which is quite surprising to me because they are tied to Sweden. I think they are their vassal of, or they are part of personal union. There is Hungary. Um, Not an obvious choice, but I mean, we'll read the description, I believe, and they will explain why there is Hungary. I assume they have quite a bit of land and they are quite powerful in 14th century, so that's why they are on that list. Quite astonishing to me is that there is also Holland, which is very small country, and usually those regions of HRE between, I mean, France, HRE, and you have also that Scandinavia. They seem to be quite challenging, and it's still on that list. So yeah, that's interesting. And not Ottomans, of course, they are Ottomans. So. What do we have here? At the start of the game, players will find a curated list of 6 recommended countries, each handpicked to offer a smooth and meaningful first experience. These nations are divided across the 3 playstyles: 2 political, 2 economic, and 2 expansion oriented. Let's guess now. So I will say that 2 political are. Let's think. Norway. I would say it's the political one. And I would say we have 2 economic and 2 expansion. Okay, let's go for expansion. So Castile and Ottomans are expansion. I'm pretty sure about that. By the way, I love that cross on Naples flag. So these are expansion. Then we have 2 economic. I would say that's gonna be Naples and Hungary? Might be. Yeah, and Hungary. And then politics is going to be Holland and Norway. That's my guess. Let's see whether I'm correct. Where I finished. This classification doesn't restrict what you can do with each country. You are free to pursue any path you like it. You like. It simply means that for your first steps, the onboarding systems that include walkthroughs will emphasize the mechanics most relevant to that playstyle. Okay, that's fair. For instance, a politically focused country will first introduce the inner workings of governance and diplomacy, while an economically minded nation will help you grasp production chains and trade networks. As your campaign progresses, the same countries will gradually open the door to the other 2 playstyles, allowing you to explore warfare, economics, and politics in a natural progression rather than all at once, which is very nice. Hopefully, that's not gonna be done the way how it's made in Victoria 3, because it sucks. It's absolutely dogshit and terrible. That's my honest opinion. Game is not bad. I'm just saying that tutorial is later it's non-existent. At the very beginning it's quite useful, but later if you cannot do something from this is called journal or situational journal. This is called journal. If you cannot complete something, you are stuck in that journal, because I mean you will not get new missions because of that. By choosing one of the 6 nations, new players can step confidently into the world of Caesar with a structured learning path built around the onboarding pillars we'll discuss later, ensuring a gentle start to what will eventually become a truly grand experience. Let's go! This is very nice representation, by the way. I like that graphic. It looks cool. Seriously, it's very nice. Generic walkthrough. Once you've chosen your starting country, we'll enter what we call the generic walkthrough, the foundational layer of Europa Universalis 5's onboarding experience. This step-based journey introduces the core mechanics every player needs to grasp before moving on to specialization. Game systems like balance, pop, estates, and other fundamental frameworks such as outliner, map modes, hints, and automations. That shape the management of your nation. Okay, welcome to Europa Universalis 5. Nearly 5 centuries of history are about to unfold before you. As the spirit of your nation, you have the power to choose how. You could conquer the world, develop your society into a flourishing utopia, or become an unrivaled economic power. Whatever you choose to do, history is yours to control. Cool. I really like those graphics. And you know what I will not like? I mean, those 3D models. I'm gonna repeat myself. every time I talk about Europa Universalis 5, I hate those 3D models. I'm sorry, guys. I know that a lot of you don't give a shit about it, but for me, it's. I mean, when I saw Napoleon Bonaparte 3D model, and I know it's just I mean, because he's young, right? It looked like, oh man, what have you done? Just stick to those 2D paintings. I mean, it's not too hard. Come on. Whatever. What we have here, we have some tooltips. So they are very similar to Victoria 3, and that's something Victoria 3 and Crusader Kings 3 as well did really, really well. I really like those tooltips. They are amazing. They are extremely helpful. I use them a lot, and I wish to see them also in Stellaris. Unfortunately, it's not part of Stellaris, but these are awesome. I think this is one of the best inventions they figured out. It's super, super helpful, so use them whenever you can. The main goal of this walkthrough is to serve as your first introduction to the world of Europa Universalis 5, not only by explaining the main mechanics step by step, but by showing why, where, and when they matter. Each stage helps players locate relevant systems in the interface, understand their purpose, and recognize when they become important. And now I see those 3D models. Oh my god. Just create mode and remove them, please. Yeah, so we have some hints. By the way, look at that map. It looks beautiful. Huge. Huge and detailed. Progression is based on simply reading and acknowledging instructions. It's about taking action and experiencing the results. Each task asks the player to interact with the game world and observe the consequences, because learning by doing is far more effective than passively following directions. That's what I said at the very beginning. Learning by doing, definitely. And whatever you do in your life, learning by doing. Always, guys. Always. Just remember that. I know that theory is cool, but why is theory cool? Because it's easy to read through it. It doesn't engage you as much as doing. It's like it's in most cases it's passive reading, and you feel like oh, I've already read, I don't know, 5 pages, and you think like, oh, okay, I'm way smarter now, and in fact you are not. Especially if you deal with something practical in mind. So definitely learning by doing. Read whenever you can, sure, but then try to apply that knowledge in your real life or in games, whatever. So we have that. What's next? On average, the generic walkthrough can take around 15 to 20 minutes to complete, depending, of course, on how deep your relationship with tooltips is. Yeah, but this is a good point, because you can open those tooltips. I mean, you can go from one tooltip to another one, to another one, to another one, and you have like 5 or 6 tooltips opened. And there's many more, of course. Some players breeze through it, others take a short detour into a tooltip reading odyssey. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, here's the best part. The generic walkthrough flows seamlessly into your actual campaign. You are not playing a separate tutorial. You are already ruling your country, making decisions that carry real weight. And this system isn't restricted to the recommended nations. You can launch the generic walkthrough with any country in the world at any time. Of course, it is also optional. You can skip it. You can skip it at any given moment and go back when you want another attempt or a quick memory refresher. Very helpful. Very helpful. I like it. Yeah, that I mean, was he called Eric? I think so. Decent man. Throughout the process, you will be supported by contextual hints, tooltips, and small achievable goals that illustrate how your actions shape the course of history. Once you've mastered these essentials, you will be ready to specialize and move on to one of the 3 specific playstyle walkthroughs focused on politics, economy, or expansion. Alright, I'm not reading those, what we have here on those graphics. I definitely admire the map. I mean, it's insane. Look at how many things we have in that game. Jesus, this is already intimidating on that graphic. And please remove them. Jesus. I mean, this is ugly. Open it, please. Oh my god. I just want to see that flag. It's beautiful. Not that guy. Can you imagine how much better it would look with 2D paintings? Like that kind of art style? Damn. Paradox, come on. Change it, please. I know you will not watch it, but I can ask you for that. Okay, here we have markets view, and look at that. You can actually open each and every tooltip here. And usually when you open that one, for example, country, it will show up somewhere here, and you will have a few more available tooltips, and you can just nest them. Around your screen. And in most cases, it doesn't make sense to read everything because you won't remember that. Just read what you need in any given moment, and then you will. When you play, you will open similar tooltip later because you are going to need something else from those tooltips. So yeah, just don't try to read everything because you will never play that game. Here we have about war. Nice. I love it. Oh, we have battle hint, occupation and siege hint, war hint. Very nice. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that description. Holy shit. War can be a most profitable enterprise, but also a quick path to disaster. Yeah. Interesting quote. Okay, were we finished? Okay, that's the one. Each walkthrough is tied to a set of learning mission trees. I talk about this later on, that gradually unlock as you progress. Completing these missions transitions you from guided play into full integrated gameplay, effectively merging learning with doing. Very, very nice. I like it so far. I have 27 minutes on my timer, and I think we are going to split that as I did before regarding military and warfare systems. Let's see how much is left. I'm just scrolling down. These are graphics. Oh, it's almost there. It's still quite a bit. So I think I'm gonna split it. So we will finish here. The 3 pillars of Europa Universalis 5 onboarding. That's gonna be the second part. We'll read through it, analyze a little bit. But so far, it's really nice. It's really nice. I truly enjoy reading it. It's like that's what we needed. That's what we really needed. And I'm glad we are going to test it in about 3 weeks. I'm super excited for that, and I hope you are as well. Okay, so for today that's it. I hope you like it, and hopefully we'll see you in the part 2 of that analysis, and then we will see. There's still a few interesting dev diaries. I haven't followed that topic from the very beginning, so probably I will find quite a lot on Paradox forums. So that might be my main focus now, since we are so close to the release. Okay, so once again, thank you very much, and see you next time. Goodbye.